You. I just wanted to take a real quick moment. I'm in the middle of seeing patients, but my first patient this morning was just a remarkable story. Here it is. The message is this: you being your own best champion of your healthcare really does matter. When you take charge of your healthcare and what's going to happen to you, it can pay amazing dividends. So my first patient this morning, a guy in his mid-50s. For whatever reason, the stars and the moon lined up, and less than a year ago, this guy put away his cigarettes. Then, instead of gaining weight, like most people do who give up tobacco, he put himself on a disciplined diet to make certain that he wasn't having the second helping and he was reducing his portions. This guy has diabetes. I just saw him. I was looking over his lab work, reviewing his chart, and he looks at me and says, "What's up, doc?" And I said, "Well, I've got two things to say to you. One, over the last 4 months, despite the fact that you gave up tobacco, that the COVID pandemic has interrupted some of the routines of our lives, though it's normalizing, he has lost 10 pounds. On top of that, his A1C, which is a measurement in terms of how his diabetes is doing, had dropped. It had dropped from 8.2 to 7.8. That's tremendous. And that was without the help of any additional medications. So this gentleman gave up tobacco, lost 10 pounds, and reduced his A1C from 8.2 to 7.8. He's in his mid-50s. Statistically, he can easily live another 30 years. And the fact that he has taken charge of his healthcare is the most important thing he could do. It's more important that he take charge of his healthcare than you giving over to a provider, a physician, a nurse practitioner, a PA, whoever. It's more important for you to take charge of your healthcare than to give it over to someone else. I mean, let's just be honest. If I've got 2,000 or 3,000 patients that I take care of day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out, there's no way that I can do as attentive a job of managing all the different elements of your healthcare as you can. You should not be hesitant one bit to be in charge of your healthcare. I read an article this morning that said that we have some 500 million people on this planet, 500 million people on this planet that have diabetes. If we have 8 billion people and we have half a billion, 500 million, half a billion, and we have 8 billion people in the world, that means virtually 1 out of 16 people has diabetes. That's 6%. It's expected that by 2050, in about 25 years, that number will almost double. It'll get over 10%. Can you imagine that? Over 10% of the world having diabetes. And what's the number one cause? It's obesity. I'm not talking about picking on anybody. I'm not talking about just talking about the people who are 100 pounds overweight. I'm talking about the people that are carrying more weight than they should, and they know it. And they're potentially at a risk for developing diabetes because of their family medical history. Take charge of your own health care. Recently, there was an article where the BMI, the body mass index, is now being sort of disparaged as not the useful tool that we thought it was. And so we're talking about all kinds of different ways to discuss overweight, obesity, morbid obesity. Well, I'm not going to abandon measuring or talking about BMIs in my office because right now it's the tool that many of my patients are most accustomed to using to watch what their weight does. We watch the weight, we watch height, we look at BMIs, and we try to monitor progress. So whether or not you're going to use BMIs to monitor where you're at on the obesity scale or the overweightness scale or whatever, you take charge of your healthcare. You'll do a way better job than any physician will. And if we work together, if you consider me as a resource or your physician as a resource in your corner, there to help you, that's going to be the best way you're going to have your best life. It's absolutely up to you. I had a guy in his 50s today who gave up tobacco, lost 10 pounds, and reduced his A1C 0.4. I'm so pleased for him, I can't tell you. It can be done. And I don't know that anything matters more in terms of you taking care of your own health and enjoying your optimal health, your best health. Have a great day.